All right, so first let's look at R1. So R1 has just one interval. Starts here, ends here. R1 uses the rightmost endpoint as our height. So R1 finds the area of this rectangle right here. You can see that this approximation is off, right? It's off by a little bit, right? It's off this part. It didn't really take into account that it took this part into account, but we didn't need to. It didn't take this top part into account, but we needed to. So you can see that R1 doesn't really give us a very good approximation of the area. Okay. So now R2. R2 cuts the interval into two equal pieces. Okay, so we've cut it now into two equal pieces. Let's see, this would be at half. We use the rightmost endpoint here. That guy. And then, so now we have that. So a better approximation. Still not that great. Let's go to R4. R4 cuts it into four pieces. Okay, let's see, let's cut this into four pieces. Use this one still. Okay, then we still use the rightmost endpoint. Okay, so R4. So now we have that rectangle. That rectangle, that rectangle, and that rectangle. So you can see that this over approximation starts to get a little better. Right, we're getting closer to the actual area. All right, now what happens when we go to R8? R8, we cut again into, so that cuts each of these in half again. Like so. And now let's see here, okay, so then we get all right, so now think about how this is, notice that this is actually getting closer to the actual area under f of x. And also notice that when we did R4, we had this whole piece, right? But now that we do R8, that piece is taken out. So that piece is part of the overestimate, right? It's overestimate of R4. When we move to R8, it takes off that piece. So again, moving further and further and further up, let's see, we did R8, let's do R16, that'll cut each of these in half again. Okay, notice that guy right there. When we did R8, it only went up that high. When we do R16, it goes up that high. You can see, so in this strip, it's actually getting closer. Oops. Again, here's our rectangle from R8, R16, we get closer. Took that part out. Take that part out. So you can see that as n increases, Rn becomes a better approximation.